with the announcement of the next generation Xbox consoles, like we did with the backwards compatibility program and the Xbox showcase many moons ago.
Work. Play. Blink. Relief. Work. Play. Blink. Relief. Work. Play. Blink. Relief. Work. Play.
The old 3-in-1 extended relief formula for dry eyes. To help your eyes keep going. Relief with every blink. With ShipXL, connect with customers by sending branded notifications for key tracking events, keeping them up to date every step of the way. That builds trust and encourages repeat business. Start your free trial of ShipXL from Pitney Bowes today.
Earlier this year, Lockheed came out and unveiled their extraction shooter known as Marathon. And safe to say, it's in a very tumultuous period, including lots of controversies, a pretty bad alpha period, and some disappointment, especially with the unveiling. Well, on the back of all of this discourse, Bungie have now put out a statement and have delayed Marathon indefinitely, with them revealing more details about the launch and potentially more about the game this fall. I'm really not surprised this happened, especially with the controversies, the stolen artwork, and so much more. And for one, I'm kind of pretty happy it has been delayed, as I feel like the game is pretty dead at this point. With Bungie saying that we won't hear from the Marathon team again until this fall, I'm going to assume that its upcoming extraction shooter will now actually miss 2025 altogether. I feel this is best for the overall team, especially as there's been tons of rumours online and dev confirmations that they always wanted more time, as ultimately the project was never finished. What do you think about this delay for Marathon? Were you excited to dive in its original September launch, or are you like me and think the game is already dead? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. After months and months of long and arduous waiting, alongside some very mixed messaging, ancient Chinese RPG Black Myth Wukong finally got released for Xbox consoles earlier next month. It finally feels real as well, as digital pre-orders are now available on the Xbox Store, and as a little bonus as well for all of us Xbox console owners. There is currently a 20% launch discount on the Xbox Store right now, and that now brings the game's price down to just £43.99 or $47.99 on the Xbox Series X and S consoles, which certainly seems like a fair price in the current market, but considering I've seen this game lower on different competing platforms, I'm still a bit mixed about this price tag for now. Anyway, all of you who are eager to get proper locked into this one can do so right now, with the above discounts applied on the Xbox Store. If you are one of those people who might think about clearing some of the storage space as well on your console, as Black Myth Wukong is now showing up as a 110GB download, and safe to say, that's a pretty large one. The Gears of War Reloaded Beta Weekend 2 is about to begin, and it starts this evening. And prior to this second and final beta test for the upcoming remaster, Bungie has got some extra goodies for all of us fans to get stuck into. First and foremost, the second beta period will be slightly over from Weekend 1. The upcoming test now runs from 12pm PT on June 20th to 9pm PT on June 22nd, with the beta carrying into the early hours of Monday morning in certain regions. Alongside this time extension though, the devs have also revealed that the classic execution mode will be making its way into this weekend, alongside fan favourite game modes like King of the Hill and a bunch of fresh maps, both of which were already announced. For all of us in the UK, just like myself, the beta will be going live until 5am on Monday morning, so safe to assume that many of us will be really dreary-eyed from waking up to work on Monday morning after a night of running into the storm. For me personally, I really did enjoy diving into the Gears of War Reloaded beta last weekend. The visual improvements were quite welcome, and it was good to finally be back. This is just a remaster though of the Ultimate Edition of Gears of War, which we currently have on Xbox Game Pass, so if you don't want to dive into it, you're not really missing much at this point. Well, this week is certainly the week of surprises, as again, out of nowhere, NetEase decided to unveil their massive new RPG for consoles and PC coming sometime in 2026. And this game is called none other than Blood Message. This looks to be part Assassin's Creed Shadows, part Tomb Raider reboot, and Blood Message looks to be a narrative-driven linear action-adventure game developed by the team behind the Rock Waypoint, and I must say, it's looking mighty impressive so far. You can take a good look at the title by the game's reveal trailer up on screen now, which does show quite a nice mix of action and cutscene work across this roughly 5-minute length. I'm not entirely sure what's gameplay here and what's not, but it looks really worn up and rather enticing so far. I am really looking forward to hearing more details about this one, as they are massive 144-kilometre map that's been rebuilt for Ark Survival Ascended with extra biomes, unforgettable landmarks, and brand new secrets. A lot of this content, though, is actually returning from Ragnarok's original release back on Ark Survival Evolved, although there will be some new stuff as well, such as a Bison Companion and 4 new islands, in the form of the Scotland expansion, Alpines, Redwood expansion, and Deserts expansion. As mentioned, you can get the Ark Ragnarok Ascended update entirely free as long as you bought the base game or have access to it by your Xbox Game Pass subscription, although you do have to claim it on the Xbox Store first. A pretty huge update has actually arrived for one of the biggest games worldwide, and I know so many of you have been eagerly anticipating this update since it was revealed many moons ago. Minecraft's live visuals update was originally released for both the Xbox Series console and other platforms on the 17th of June this year. This means that as of Tuesday, you should be seeing a significantly improved visual experience in Minecraft for Xbox console. I did actually have a chance to check out the live visuals update in the Insider preview last month, and I have to say the visuals were absolutely phenomenal. However, the frame rate was certainly less than desired, so I really hope that Mojang have plenty of time to line up the games, and I want to see if any of you played it since its launch on the Xbox consoles. The best thing though is that if you haven't actually tried out the visual update already, it should automatically apply to your version of Minecraft even if you purchased it on the via Xbox Game Pass. If you're not a massive fan of this visual update as well, you can also turn this off in the settings. It really is unique. I can't believe we're finally seeing this update as it was out all the way back with the Xbox Series console launch all the way back in 2020. So what is your favourite Xbox update or announcement for this week? Are you looking forward to this Xbox AMD partnership, or what's your thoughts about the next generation of Xbox consoles? I'd be keen to have chats with you in the comments below. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Xbox news, reviews and updates every single day. A big shout out as well to our channel members for your continued support, and if you're enjoying the early access videos, Discord member chats, exclusive emotes, and so much more, then click that join button down below. Whilst you're here though, why don't you check out the video on the screen now, as I cover the huge Xbox sale going on in the Xbox Store right now, and I tell you what, there's a lot of chats that you don't want to miss.
The negotiations happening in these halls could devastate what's happening in these. Without immediate changes, Congress's proposed Medicaid cuts would mean our neighbors, family, and friends could lose their care, and billions of dollars of cuts will affect us all. Fewer services, closed hospitals, crowded emergency departments, and longer wait times. It impacts everyone. It's not too late. Call your senator and tell them healthcare cuts hurt us all.
Get road trip ready with deals at Pet Boys. Right now, buy 3 Cooper Adventurer all-season tires, get the 4th tire free. Or shop our manager special. You'll receive a full synthetic oil change, tire rotation, and 2 wiper blades for $140 with coupon. Need a deal on brakes? Save up to $100 on select brake service packages with coupon. Don't wait. Make an appointment online today and trust Pet Boys to keep you moving.
The Super Nintendo, home of some of the best, or rather most super RPGs, platformers, and adventure games ever made. It took us from 8 bits to 16, and it axed beats and groups so that we could hear sweet, bit-crusher samples of actual instruments. Titles such as Earthbound, Super Mario All-Stars, and even games like The Lion King all gave us something memorable to see, hear, and play. And we'll be covering all these games and more in this video. But what truly made the SNES stand out against the competition back in the day was highly polished and super fun titles like, I don't know, Kirby Superstar, for example. Kirby Superstar, despite being intended for an SNES release from the get-go, actually began development on the original NES. This unreleased NES prototype was used for internal purposes only, as a way of finalizing all the ideas that would go into the end product before the team had an actual SNES development kit. This process can be seen with the NES sprites for the Yoyo and Cutter abilities, which were released to the public over 20 years later in an issue of Famitsu. The sprites shown look nearly identical to their counterparts in the finished product, with the main exception being the lack of Superstar's signature ability pads. Director Masahiro Sakurai stated that this type of development style is beneficial to him, as the starting step of finalizing all of the game's ideas via an internal prototype makes the rest of development significantly easier, with many of the original ideas having already been fleshed out before development of the final product begins to take shape. Speaking of early design stages of the game, The Lion King actually includes a number of levels and characters that don't have any obvious connection to the source material, The Lion King movie. This is because several levels and characters that appear throughout the game come from deleted scenes of The Lion King. During the film's production, the original intention of the transition from young Simba to adult Simba was considerably longer and featured a number of the events that occur within the game. Because the game was being produced alongside the film, these levels were being created during the point when it was decided to have these scenes removed from the film. It was decided to keep these levels and characters in the game, even though they never appeared in the film's theatrical release. This means that the game actually includes a more complete series of events than the film, arguably making it a more comprehensive look at the film's story. While the SNES had many great platformers, we shouldn't forget its more experimental titles, such as the much-beloved Mario Paint. The game was more of a art tool than a game, but even the game's original release wasn't the most experimental version. The title actually had enough data release distributed exclusively through the Japan-exclusive Satello service. This new release introduces support for standard controllers alongside the original usage of the Super NES mouse, something that, as a kid, would have been a huge benefit considering many people bought the game second-hand without a mouse, myself included, rendering it impossible to play. But this Yushao Naizoban version of the game introduces an additional picture for the player to color in, titled Dreaming Moon, created by Mizota Hiroko of Tokyo, the winner of a contest associated with Mario Paint DS Bang. But the game had some secrets that everyone could enjoy. The original release of Mario Paint held a secret message that was rarely seen by painters. When creating any image or animation, if the images are sufficiently large enough and highly detailed, it's possible that the game will be unable to implement compression on them, pushing them beyond the cartridge's 32 kilobytes of bus RAM. If this happens, when the player attempts to save their creation, the saved robot will display the drag error message of data overflow, including a unique animation that cannot be seen otherwise, which has the robot puff out smoke from its quote-unquote ears with a looping explosion sound effect. Speaking of alterations made for specific markets, the classic RPG Breath of Fire was actually changed for its localization in the West. The most notable change is that the original Japanese release of the game included a stereotypical and racist depiction of a black person. Khan, known as Dank in the Japanese version, had his race altered for overseas markets. Originally, Khan had a tan but desaturated ashy complexion, with a set of full lips and curly hair. This was changed in the West to make him Arabian-esque, with smaller lips and straight hair instead. Why this was changed was pretty much a no-brainer, but this isn't the only 16-bit Breath of Fire title to be censored. Breath of Fire 2 was also censored, though this was done long after the game's first release on the SNES. For the game's digital release on the Wii U Virtual Console, two instances of text changes were made. The first being a very simple change of the word damn being changed into darn, while the second change is a bit more involved. One of the game's mini-games was changed, specifically in how it is described. Originally, the translation described the game as being kind of like Othello, with the issue being that Othello was actually a registered trademark and one which had encountered some legal disputes in the years running up to Breath of Fire 2's Virtual Console release. It was likely the easiest option to simply remove this text entirely, which is exactly what happens. The line, "It's kind of like Othello," was simply removed entirely. Another popular JRPG for the Super Nintendo was the last 16-bit Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy VI. In the game, when the party encounters Cyan, it's possible to find the Book of Secrets, an item located at Mount Zozo in the world of Yoyo. Along with guides for understanding and operating machinery, the player finds the book inside his trunk. The English release of the game sheds no light on the nature of its contents, but the original Japanese version gives a small clue as to what's inside the pages. Here, it's referred to as Choto Echi no Hon, which means a little neat book. With the later Game Boy Advance release of the game, the book was called Bushido, the bedroom, with the more obvious implication that the book was of a sexual nature.